Okay, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Morning.
And this is the best TV streaming devices for cord cutters and those that want to be cord cutters. We've already spoke a little bit, and some of you folks are still on Spectrum, and I was too until about 4 years ago, and I started looking into this, and I talked about it a few times of what I've done, and I've changed that around since then because I was getting 100 and some channels, and I watched probably 4 or 5, and and so I got rid of everything and just picked what I could get most of. And I do have the internet from Spectrum. It's 100 megabits. I think somebody mentioned, it was Harry, that said, yeah, we're paying about $70 for 100 megabits. And all my devices go about 117 megabits, which is a pretty nice speed. Although these days, within a year or two, we'll all double or triple or quadruple that. Okay, so the devices that we're going to look at today, and you probably have some of these or maybe earlier versions, but you might look into updating so that you could get that high-end 4K look. And we have the first item is a Roku streaming stick. That means there's not a box. It's just it looks like a jump drive, and it plugs into the HDMI port. The second one is an Amazon Fire TV stick. I personally have a Fire TV, which looks like an Apple TV, and it's 4K, and it has all that HDR. And I got it some years ago, but it still does all of this. Now they have a Fire Stick that does 4K, which is pretty nice. And for those Apple users, Jeff and I were talking earlier that for those that use Apple iPads, iPhones, iMacs, the Apple TV seems to be a good choice because most of or all of the apps that run and give you the content that you're after are going to run on the Apple TV 4K. It's a little more pricey. Are we still happening?
Your audio.
Yep, I can hear you, Tom.
Okay. All right, so I'll keep going. Something's going on with the interface, I think.
That's probably at your end, Tom.
Yeah, can you still see the screen just fine?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can.
and hear you fine.
Okay, well, then I'll just keep going. All right. So we got the Apple, and then there's the Roku Ultra, and Google Chromecast, which is Chromecast is an app that can run on Android phones, and also it will put whatever image you have on. If you use an Android phone, you could cast whatever it is on your phone. You could run a movie if you got Netflix on your phone and cast it up onto your TV if you have Chromecast, and it plugs in with an HDMI port too. And the last one is the Roku.
It also works. Pardon me. It also works from your PC, from your Chrome browser. You can cast from your Chrome browser. Anything in your browser, you can cast to the Chromecast as well.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Ray. And the last one is the Roku Smart Soundbar, which I spoke about earlier. That it has it's a soundbar. It doesn't come standard with the subwoofer, but for 180 bucks you can get the subwoofer added on and give you that full sound like I like. On all my TVs have LG soundbars with subwoofers, so that it has an impact. And you got to watch the volume level because it might be disturbing to somebody in the house that doesn't particularly like that, all the shouting and the bombs going off and everything. But it does enhance the theater experience. So,
Tom, you'll explain more what Roku means again when you go through.
Okay, well, we could start with that one because the Roku streaming stick is the best overall pick. Roku is a streaming device, and then you would run your apps on that. Roku is actually hardware. And then you would run, if you have Netflix, you would have a Netflix app on your Roku. And this sounds like I'm speaking a different language, but on your Roku, for example, on my Roku, I have 3 of them. One is a Roku Express, which allows an older TV. It has the video and audio left and right plugs on it, a Roku Express. And then I have a Roku Premiere, which is 4K. I have that on the living room TV. And the one that I watch the most is the Roku Ultra. And they all connect the same way into an HDMI port. And you could get power from USB, or you could plug it in. So,
But you use different ones on different TVs?
yes, well, each TV needs its own device.
Oh, okay.
So that of course, it's going to depend on what you pick, but most of these devices all run the same apps. So if you like Netflix, if you have Amazon Prime, or what do they call that one with the it's Amazon movie.
Yeah, it's Amazon Prime. You get
Prime
movies
Movie.
thrown in.
Yeah, okay, that's right. And so that I could go to Amazon Prime and look at TV shows from a couple of years ago, or 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Old versions, old episodes of Star Trek are all on Amazon Prime, but Amazon Prime will run on a Roku, will run on an Amazon Fire TV stick, and it will run on an Apple TV. So that in this case, that wouldn't be the deciding factor of what device you would get. Personally, on my the Roku Premiere or the Roku Ultra, I run what's called Hulu Live, and I get everything I could possibly want except for my local channels. And I have a Channel Master 4228, which is a pretty big antenna inside the garage upstairs. So it's hidden, but it gets 41 channels, local channels. It's facing southwest. So I get all my local channels that way. So I'm going in and out of Hulu, in and out of Amazon Prime, to get everything I could possibly want. I don't think I'm missing anything from cable, except, like Harry mentioned earlier, I'm missing that convenience of just channel up, channel down. You press 110 and you're at the channel you want. Whereas with this, you have to click and you wait until it loads, and then you go to the channel you want. So it's not quite as convenient, but for me, I don't mind, and I'm also saving probably at least 100. I think it was 118 bucks a month, I think was the difference.
Can you record with those? Can you record a show?
No.
Okay.
With Hulu
But
Live,
they're on demand too.
with Hulu
So you can watch
Live,
them anytime you want.
well, that's true too. Yeah, that's right, Harry. You don't need to record it, Trina, because it's always there for you to watch. It's not like you're looking at broadcast when you stream. Most everything is going to be there all the time, especially in like Amazon Prime. Let's see. Anyway, let's get back to we're going to cover these 6 before our time runs out here. The best overall pick was the first one. It's a Roku Streaming Stick Plus, it's called, and it's around $50, so it's not prohibitive, and it's the best Roku for most people. It has excellent Wi-Fi reception and plugs right into an HDMI port on your TV. Like other Roku products, the apps aren't always beautifully designed, but they are here. Netflix, Amazon, HBO, all of them. And the main interface lets you search for shows across all of your subscriptions at once. You can even add or delete the apps you don't need on your homepage. Roku Premiere is $30, which is what I use, and it's a cheaper alternative, but it's a larger alternative, but it still gives me the 4K and HDR. Best Buy carries its own version, and it's even cheaper. And they also sell, like I mentioned, I have a Roku Express that comes with a headphone jack and the video in and out. So the Roku streaming stick is for most people, it'll do everything you need. All right, we can move on to the next one on that list. I should be hitting the, let's see. I couldn't get this to work before. I can't see my screen anymore, so I'm running on, I don't know how to get the.
I see Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV now.
Now what do you got?
Amazon Fire Stick.
Okay, well then we're here. Amazon, because my screen, something's going on with my Zoom program or something. It's all black and white and fuzzy. So something must have happened to my installation of the Zoom program. But as long as you guys are seeing it, we'll just continue on here. Amazon has really sped up and improved the latest Fire Stick TV 4K. The Alexa-enabled remote, which is a benefit because I use Alexa all the time. I have Amazon Echoes around the house with subwoofers, so that this would be a good choice for me. And I do. I have an Amazon Fire TV, not the stick. The menus are heavily geared towards showing Amazon Prime Video and buying and renting videos from Amazon Store. Apps for competitors like Netflix and Hulu are included, but relegated to a single row of the interface. YouTube is finally available thanks to a thaw in the Google-Amazon feud, but Vudu remains absent. Anybody know what Vudu is?
Mm-mm.
Walmart.
What?
Walmart. Walmart owns Vudu, I thought.
And is that a streaming app?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, new for 2019 is the Fire TV for $40, but that only if you have no plans to upgrade your TV, which I don't recommend. The Fire TV Cube, as of 6/10, it's hands-free voice features, but they don't work very well. So I guess you could stay away from that. And let's see. Fire TV connects to all major streaming device services, but not Vudu. And the Amazon Fire TV stick is around $50. So it's still not prohibitive. Let me see if I hit my, all right, I'm going to hit this button.
Apple TV.
Apple TV.
Seeing Apple TV. Okay, thanks. Okay, if you own an iPhone and you already buy movies and shows from Apple's library or subscribe to Apple TV, Apple TV may be worth the extra cash because it all folds in real easily. It has every major streaming app, including Amazon Video, and the interface is slicker and easier to use than a Roku. Opt for the 64 gigabyte version so you don't run out of space. You could store movies and things right on the device. The downside is the remote control. It's a bit wonky. I know I have an Apple TV, an earlier version. I don't have the fifth. I think mine is the 3rd generation. But yes, the remote is a bit wonky. And others reported that it can be laggy if it's too far away. So the remote needs to be relatively close to the device itself. And if you own an iPhone or iPad, you can pretty much get the Apple TV experience there. Apple now has a Roku app too. Apple sells a cheaper Apple TV model, but it's outdated, weaker. Jeff and I mentioned that earlier, that it's of no use to get the earlier version because as of last month, HBO doesn't support the earlier version. So don't bother with that one. Just get the, as of this spring, which I guess we still need to experience it, but it was a couple of months ago. Spring for the 4K version, or just buy a Roku instead of worrying about the extra expense of an Apple TV. Okay, now we're going to move to You see Roku
Roku
Ultra?
Ultra.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the Roku Ultra is what I use, and it's recommended for people that like the live TV experience. I'm a big Roku fan. I like the Fire TV. I like Apple TV, but for all around ease of use and the apps that runs on it, and just the near cable experience, Roku really does the job. Especially, but the Roku Ultra is $80 rather than the $50 for the earlier version and the $30 for the first version I got. And it's simple to use. The Roku interface is simple to use, and it's almost identical to the Roku stick, but it has some extra memory and a faster processor that makes it better at streaming live TV. Like the stick, it supports 4K HDR, but not Dolby sound or Dolby Vision. But it has an Ethernet port, so you don't need to connect wireless. If your wireless is not as good as it should be, you can actually cable it right into your router, which I have done. I cabled mine into the router, so I don't have to worry about the wireless. So I'm getting all 117 megabits.
Tom?
Yes, Trina.
So when these either go bad or like become outdated, you just buy a new one? So you're upgrading a little device? I mean,
Yes. Well, for example, I have an Apple TV that's 3rd generation, and the new one does things that mine won't. So if that ever gets in the way, there's nothing you could do with an older unit. It's like an iPad 1 or an iPad 2. There's just, which I have, both of those, and all my apps don't work anymore. So it's relegated to like playing solitaire or calculator. So there's not much you can do. That's why when you buy this stuff, you should buy it with the thought that you're going to have it for a while. So that what I'm doing here is showing you devices that will be good for years. 4K is going to be around a long time. I know Samsung has introduced 8K televisions, but it'll be 5 or 10 years before broadcast will get anywhere near 8K. So a 4K streaming device will serve you well for 5, 6, 8, 10 years, I think. Unless, of course, mechanically it breaks. Although there's not much, I mean, electrically it melts. I guess it ain't gonna break. It's not like a steam engine or anything. Okay. It has a micro, Roku Ultra has a micro SD slot so that you can save things with it. And it also has a USB port. One key feature is the headphone jack. You can plug included earbuds and watch TV late night without disturbing anybody, which some people may find that an advantage. Roku connects to all major streaming services, like the earlier Roku. It just is, the industry has just chosen Roku as the device, the default device. The rest of these are good, and they do a good job for those of you that are comfortable with those other companies. But Roku seems to be the one that's caught on the most. Okay, I'm going to hit this button again, and hopefully it'll change, because if you saw what I'm looking at.
Got a Google Chromecast.
Good. Okay. Now, Google Chromecast is for, and Ray mentioned earlier that you could use the Google Chrome to actually cast movies using your desktop or laptop. But most folks that are going to use Google Chromecast probably are going to be phone users, Android phone users usually. Google Chromecast was launched in 2013, so it's been around a while. Instead of using a remote, it lets you wirelessly toss the videos from streaming apps on your phone. You launch the video on your phone, tap a button, and then the video plays on your television instead. And you get this unit that you're seeing on the screen there, and you plug it into the HDMI, and your phone will connect to that and send the movie or whatever it is, your YouTube up to your television. And it works very well, and they've had a while to work on it. So it does work well. I know Cousin Billy's got one of those, and he's had it for a while. It still works very well.
I have one too.
Excellent. A Chromecast can also mirror the Chrome browser tabs on your computer, Ray mentioned earlier, displaying them on your TV, which is a perk for watching browser-based streams. Like if you're podcasting or something, it's easy to do it with a Chromecast because it's built in, it'll be built into your browser. It also supports 4K now, HDR codecs like Dolby Vision, and is the best device we found for streaming YouTube videos on a big screen. If you don't plan to buy a 4K, but we all probably have 4K TVs by now, don't we?
I don't think so.
One of mine is 4K.
Yeah.
I don't watch enough TV to get a 4K. I'm just one flat panel 1920 by 1080. That's about it.
Bruce walked away, so I have no idea.
Okay.
We have one in the main room.
Yeah, because unless you're looking for like a bargain, a real bargain TV, because you could still get them, like a 40-inch 1080p for like $130. Most TVs, probably 90% of the TVs are going to be 4K. And then there's different flavors of 4K. Okay, if you don't plan on buying a 4K TV, you can buy the cheaper Chromecast 3 for $35. Instead of, I'm sorry, I didn't mention this. The Chromecast Ultra is $69. I'm sure it's at Walmart. It's probably a little bit more elsewhere. But let's see. Oh, the Ultra is faster than the Chromecast 3, but it has an Ethernet port if your Wi-Fi is shaky and is more future-proof. And it will play most of the apps that the Roku will play. Although it is an Android-based product, which is based on Chrome OS. Okay. All right, we got one more to look at here. Okay, I'll hit the button. You guys are going to have to tell me what you're seeing.
Roku Smart Soundbar.
Okay, Roku Smart Soundbar. At Walmart, it's $129. It's a soundbar that's going to sound better than your TV, but it does not come with a subwoofer. You can add one for $180 more, but it does have Roku built in. So if your TV doesn't have Roku, or if it does have Roku built in, but it's shaky, sometimes the TV versions of Roku don't work well. This is a solid version of Roku, and you'll have a Roku with good sound for your television. Everybody should have a soundbar. I recommend it. I have a soundbar on all my TVs. Well, I have 3. Because once I got used to it, the sound from your regular TV it just doesn't do it for me. And I'm a sound kind of guy, retired musician. So I want to hear everything that's happening. So, but you got to watch how loud it gets because it can be annoying, even for me. Let's see, where are they? Okay, well, it's a standard sound bar, but it has Roku built right in. And the guy that wrote this blurb calls it an entertainment turducken. Have anybody ever had a turducken? I made
No,
one.
but I know what it is.
Yeah, I made one 2 years ago. It's a turkey and a duck and a chicken.
They're awesome.
Yeah, I got it from this Cajun chicken down in
That's
Georgia.
what we got, a Cajun grocer.
Yeah, that's it, Harry.
My
And-
brother sent it to us, I think, one year for Thanksgiving.
Delicious, and I got the cornbread stuffing.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, it was delicious.
Yeah, it really is good.
I still get their emails now too.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy's calling this soundbar a turducken because of it's something built into something else that's built into something else. Because it's a combination speaker system, apps, and streaming device. But it works better on TVs with an HDMI and over the standard an HDMI ARC port over standard HDMI ports. But it doesn't have a subwoofer, so it's okay for small rooms. But a wireless subwoofer to pair with it is another $180 if you want to up your audio. Below, let's see, we have the Roku, which just like the other two Roku items, it connects to all major streaming services. Okay, now to wind this up, you're also going to have to tell me what you're seeing because my screen now is black.
See the Roku soundbar.
All right, now I'm going to hit this, and Harry's going to recognize this because Harry was kind enough to show me about Suppose.tv. You all seeing that?
Yep.
Yes.
And so that if you can, those of you that are still using cable, or if you've got all your devices all set up already, if you feel like it, you can go to Suppose.tv, thank you to Harry, and do a search. You can pick the channels you absolutely have to have. And this, I described it to Harry yesterday after I looked at it. It's like skip lagged for TV stations. It actually has an algorithm that will show where you could get the channels you want, what packages you could get for the cheapest, if that's what you're looking for, or for whatever device you're carrying. So Suppose.tv, I'm going to hit it one more time. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's the home, this is the content page, how it works, although I'm not seeing it myself. I think you are. And I'll hit the button, and this is the home page. So that you go to Suppose.tv, and it'll give you an opportunity. You see on the left-hand side, you can pick the channels, the local channels. You can pick the movie channels, entertainment, the HGTV kind of channels, the how-to channels, whatever on the left side, and it'll begin to formulate whatever's going in the middle and on the right. And I was stunned at how responsive this thing is, and it'll give you, I think it says there, billions of combinations or something. So anyway, it was worth me putting it on the end of this little PowerPoint presentation. So I put all the thanks go to Harry for telling me about this, because I think we should all look at it and see if we're getting, if we could do better.
Right.
I know.
So what's nice
Harry,
about
please.
it is I actually went to Parks and Rec here in Aurora, had a cutting the cord seminar. So, and this was the first, not the first tool, but the guy putting it on showed it to us. And you literally go down that list, you click on the channels you want, and it'll bring up in the middle to the right of it what packages could work for you and what the pricing is. It'll also tell you if there's deals on it and stuff like that. So just go to it and try it. Like Chris, you were saying you like the sports. You can click on the local channels and then go down and click on the sports channels, and it'll tell you. Now, it might be a combination. It might say Hulu Live and Sling or something like that. And then it'll tell you what devices it works on too. So it's pretty good system.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
And I think, like I said to Tom, I could probably save $60 if I did a combination. I think it was either YouTube TV or Hulu Live. But again, then it's that convenience factor of, I know that, ESPN's 1301. Boom, done.
Yeah. Well, there's something to be said for convenience and ease of use. That's modern technology, but you pay for it, and as long as you're willing to.
The other thing I would suggest, almost all these have a free trial of anywhere from 7 to 14 days. So just if you click on one you like, if you go to Suppose.tv and try it, and it says, okay, try Hulu Live. If you're not currently subscribed to Hulu Live, I believe you get a 14-day free trial. And that's what we did. We did YouTube TV and Hulu Live, and it's just my wife didn't like, trying to find the show she wanted that way. And so, like you said, it's worth $60 a month not to have to screw around with it.
Yeah.
To her, not to me so much.
I think I'm still paying the introductory price for Hulu
Okay.
Live, and I get everything. And the channels I don't get, I don't think I'm getting, the ones that they play like the, them love movies that they throw together in a half a day. Hallmark. Yeah, I don't get the Hallmark channel, but yeah, I don't miss it.
Right.
Yeah.
Other than
My wife would miss that.
Right. I know. Women love that channel.
Yep.
Can we get rid of the shopping channels?
Say again?
Get rid of the shopping channels.
No. Them shopping channels are on every device. Yeah.
You know, as most of you know, I made a presentation for NBTV last year when we were still going to Corky and Lenny's. I still have NBTV, and I have a couple of Fire Stick 4Ks, and it's working pretty well. I also have Spectrum at $70 a month for 100 megabits. So $59.95 on top of that gets you over 1,000 channels for Envy. And of course, when you have a Fire Stick and you're a Prime member, you also have hundreds of movie choices on the Fire Stick from Amazon Direct. And you also have the option of installing additional apps. For example, Tubi TV, Tubi TV is an app that you can put on your Amazon Fire Stick. And that also has a couple thousand supported movies with advertising. So that's also available. And that'll tend to reduce your price considerably. If you're spending $200 to $250 on cable and internet, you can drop down to below $150 with the combination of Spectrum at $69.95 and NBTV at $59.97, that sort of thing.
Is your package, Ray, still monthly?
Yes, and there's no contract. You can drop it at any time. And it includes basically all the popular movie channels, all the popular sports channels, many of the local channels as well. As you know, most of this stuff is satellite delivered, so it's relatively easy for streaming services to grab a channel. And so 3, 5, and 8, and 19, and 25 are all on the NBTV as well. So, and Hallmark too.
Right. Well, with 1,000 channels, I would expect Hallmark to be one of them.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering, does any of this stuff interest anybody? I mean, does anybody think they're going to look into changing what they're doing now?
Hey, Tom.
Yes,
This was
Mark.
an interesting presentation. I was at a bed and breakfast several months ago, and they had a Roku program set up.
Huh.
Exactly which one of the three. I found it very frustrating. First of all, because I wasn't used to it. Two, when I scrolled through the channels, a lot of them said that I had to pay for it, which I wasn't going to do.
Yeah.
You know.
Or
The other thing is that what really frustrated me the most is that I found it very hard to find live newscast programs
yes.
recirculating from earlier today, yesterday, last week, which I wasn't interested in because that's old news already.
Right.
I didn't want that.
Well, and this was a Roku, Marty?
Yeah,
Okay, so what they're expecting you is to use your home account. Like when you go and you stay in a room, normally you wouldn't, well, I don't know about normally, but when you stay in a room, you're going to watch like a movie and then go to bed. You're not going to like watch it all day with all the channels that you love at home. So
yeah.
you would find the Netflix interface and log in with your account. That's what that affords you to be able to do.
Yeah,
So
but I
that,
wasn't going to set up an account because I was only going to be there for a few days.
well, no, but so apparently you don't have Netflix at home.
No,
Well, that's what I mean. You wouldn't want to set up a new account just to watch one movie in one night. But if you have Amazon Prime,
no, I have Uverse TV, and I'm thinking about changing because I have a bundle, including the cell phone, Wi-Fi, cable, and all that, around $300 a month.
oh my, well, this should be right up your alley, Marty. You should go.
Now, AT&T's coming out with a new program for like $59 a month. AT&T TV or something it's called.
Yeah, they bought DirecTV.
Yeah, so it's one of those two in the bottom down here.
Yeah,
If it's AT&T TV Now or AT&T TV.
right.
So I'm
Well,
thinking
you should, yeah, you should
because of the
really look into
convenience, again,
something.
like you mentioned, and I have a bundle, so everything is easy to work with.
Well, you should look into something, Marty. See if you can't get that 300 down a little bit.
Yeah.
My goodness.
But that's including my cell phone and everything together.
Oh, so you have internet, phone, and TV for the 300?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if it's worth it, then I
I
guess you got to
started
do
out
it.
with the Uverse 1000 or 100, whatever, and they limited it, bumped me up to 200 or 2000.
Wow.
But I don't use all those channels.
Well, maybe you could go to suppose.tv and check it out and
Yes.
see if you could get the channels that you normally watch. You probably
Yeah,
got
okay.
what, a handful of channels that you look at,
Yeah,
and see if you can't put together something using suppose.tv.
I
think
do
that's what
record a
we'll
few
do.
programs that I watch later.
Do you have any streaming device at home yet?
No, I got a box from AT&T that I
Oh,
recorded.
right. You got a cable box.
Yeah,
Well, I guess the first thing you could do is hopefully you could watch this video again and pick out one of these devices. The most used and the most popular is the first one, which was the Roku. Let me see what it was called exactly. I have it on the sheet here.
I think
Roku
Harry's typing.
Streaming Stick Plus.
Yeah, I'm typing.
It's
Okay.
$50. And it will do all of what we talked about for $50. You could get the one that's not 4K and it's like 30. I have one of those that I have on a TV I'd never watch. But the other ones, the other three TVs that I look at, I have a Roku Express. They're all 4K. Roku Express, Roku Ultra, Roku Premier. But I also have the other ones because I needed to learn how to use them. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, I was just gonna say, I think we'll look at the Roku. As long as Bruce has really, really high-speed internet for the recording studio, the TV part, we'll probably go to this suppose.tv and figure out, because our cell phone is separate. That's with Verizon.
Yeah.
So we're just talking Spectrum right now, and it is a lot of money considering we only watch probably 10 channels.
Yeah, isn't that something? That's what I thought that to myself 3 years ago when I got rid of everything. Do you know what your internet speed is, Trina?
100?
Okay. So you're paying probably what I pay now is $69.99 or something?
no,
Oh, hurry up and answer.
it's bundled at 50.
Bundled at 50.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Right.
But
And
when you buy
cancel
it,
your when you cancel that package, you become a new customer with Spectrum, so you'll get their 1-year pricing of $50 for the 100 megabytes.
yeah, that's
internet.
right. The first year was $49.99 for 100
Yep.
megabits. My first year, because what I did was I did what Eugene did. Eugene told us that he got rid of everything and just had an antenna or something, and then he started streaming, and his kids told him they're going to move out. because they didn't have anything to watch, they thought.
That's a good deal.
Over time, but over time, you get used to it, not having, like when I first got rid of it, I was like bumping up and down and it seemed clumsy to me. But now it's second nature. You just put up with it because I know I'm saving $100 or $110 or $118 a month, some kind of number like that.
Yeah, Tom,
So,
I was going to ask you,
yeah,
you advertise on TV and elsewhere, these little mini cable, little mini antennas that you plug into your TV. They're supposed to give you hundreds of channels. I just wonder how well they really work.
no, they're not going to give, I have
You know.
a 3.5 foot square antenna, about 20 feet high, aimed southwest, and I get 41 channels.
Well, these are even smaller.
Yeah, well, you ain't gonna get 41. You're gonna get the ones that the signal's 5 by 5. You're gonna get 3, 5, 8, 19 and 43 combined. They sold the tower and they put their broadcast on the same tower. So it's iffy if you're gonna get one or the other.
If they advertise getting 100 channels.
Yeah, it don't. You won't get 100 channels from that little teeny thing. Not gonna happen.
Okay.
Although I would get something that is an antenna. I think it's good having an antenna because, you know, it gives you all the local channels, and plus, in my estimation, the picture looks better from antenna than it does on stream. Or what?
Wire coat hanger count?
A coat hanger.
I remember from years ago.
Yeah. Well, we had, right, in a 19-inch black and white TV. That's right. I broke off the antenna and my dad rigged that up with a wing nut.
Well, you do need a specialized digital antenna now, don't you?
Yeah, yes.
Because
Yes,
we have
you
an
do.
old style antenna in the attic. I haven't tried hooking that up yet.
You got, right, because you still have the, you want to get the UHF as well as the VHF. And
Right.
the digital. Of course, they're all going to be digital now, but you still need those different frequencies. But I tell you, it's worth looking into. We should all look into it, and then we can report back. It's 8:30. I'm dealing with this screen. It's just unbelievable. I got to see what's going on. Maybe I got to uninstall and reinstall. But I'm going to hit this last one here. Oh, there it is. Muchas gracias. De nada. Thank you for your kind attention.
That was great.
Thank you.
That was excellent. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was
I
really
appreciate
good.
it. And I appreciate all your input because we've all had experience, and I know we'd like to save money, but there's nothing like convenience. I mean, after all, there's some things I'm willing to pay extra money for, and it's just TV's not one of them because I don't get that much of a kick out of most TV. I like watching Discovery or Motor Trend. Used to be Velocity, where all the cars and the people working on cars. I like that stuff. I like the when they go to Egypt and the guy looks in the tombs and everything. I love that kind of Smithsonian stuff. And I like the HGTV. But the regular, like sitcoms and stuff, I don't get that
Yeah.
much of a kick out of it.
We don't watch those either.
Yeah, well, I think the last one that I watched and got a kick out of was Everybody Loves Raymond, and look how long ago that was.
Uh,
Yeah.
And actually, before that, it was Seinfeld because it was so good. You know, the writing with Seinfeld was amazing. Look how many things that they said and did that are part of our lexicon now.
Although I don't think my husband could ever do without NCIS, so that'll be a consideration.
It's
Trina,
on everywhere all the time.
which one, Gina? There's like 3 or 4 of them.
It's like Law and Order,
The regular one with Mark Harmon,
the original.
the original.
Oh, so it doesn't have anything after the NCIS? No city?
No.
No. Okay.
Everybody remember where NCIS came from?
Yeah,
Legal
Jag.
Criminal Investigative
JAG.
Service.
The spinoff from JAG.
Yep.
Yes.
Is
I
that
love
right?
JAG.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh yeah, a couple of them appeared in JAG at the very beginning, and
Yeah.
that's how they.
All right,
Cool.
I gotta go, guys. It was
Okay.
great, Tom. Thanks.
Thank you, Harry. I appreciate
care.
the heads
Thanks,
up on Suppose TV. That was
Yeah,
great.
that's an
Thank you,
amazing
Harry.
site. I mean, when he showed it to me, I'm like, holy crap.
That'll be game changing for
Yeah.
us. To see
It
that.
knocked me out. Absolutely.
All right, take care, everybody.
Have a good
Thank
day,
you, Harry.
everyone.
Bye.
See you, Harry.
Bye.
Bye.
See
Good
you all
job.
next week. Thanks.
Thank you, Marty.
Hey, Marty,
Yeah.
are you still, and the reason I'm asking, and maybe Jeff and Tom can answer it. My business has exploded. I'm shocked that people, and I don't want to say I'm shocked. I don't, like I say, I don't do a lot of business with homeowners. I'll bet you in the last 2 weeks, I've had 20 calls from homeowners, and literally they'll let you go in the house. They'll let you do anything now. I just wanted to know if you're getting the same vibe that I am.
Sometimes, depending on the homeowner, if they're elderly or if they have some type of a compromised immune system, they're a lot more cautious. But the normal, whatever you consider normal, they're not so much that way.
What about open houses? Are you doing open houses now?
I went to one Sunday, and some people wore masks, some didn't.
But you can stay far apart and view a house, I imagine.
Yeah, there was 2 or 3 other couples came in though within that same time period though.
There was
So you
3
can take
open
them away.
houses in my neighborhood Sunday.
Hmm.
I've been wearing masks when I show up at people's homes, and I'm reading a book right now called The Great Influenza, which was about the Spanish flu epidemic. I'm about halfway into it, and if this follows the same course, we're due
We're
for another big hit, and it will be worse than what's happened. Like, who knows if it'll follow the same course?
Right. They
I'm
don't.
going to enjoy the downtime, and I'm going to go eat at Jack's
I
Deli.
can interject something into that, Jeff. And what it is the pockets of recurrence, the virus has mutated to being less virulent because the ones who have died because of it, that's not the purpose of the virus. The virus wants to be part of a host so that it will mutate into a less virulent version so it doesn't kill the host. That's what's going to happen to this particular virus.
Well, that was what they thought happened early on with the Spanish flu, when it started in Kansas and then wasn't killing everybody that got it, and then spread to the military base nearby, and then spread around the world. And the process of this was fascinating to me to learn about how the virus mutates and why, and how it, as it goes from host to host, it mutates. And once it's past, they believed that the Spanish flu, the passage from host to host, is really literally referred to as a passage. And the mutations that happened during that passage, they thought that this was going to run its course and dissipate, and it looked like it did. And then it came back with a vengeance. And
Well, that wouldn't surprise me given all the protests and the groups lately at all. That's just helping it along.
Wearing masks actually does make a difference.
Mark my word, and I'll swear to this to the day I die, literally, if nothing happens from this protest and we don't have a big spike,
yeah, the world's going to open up.
We're gonna open. Well, the world's going to open up, and the state of Ohio has already been sued by the Restaurant Association big time, and it could cost you and I taxpayers billions of dollars because they can prove that a lot of these numbers were faked.
Well, certainly the models were exaggerated.
Horrible.
Yeah, they weren't even close. But
It's so hard to track and to have a uniform system of reporting and yeah, I think that data is kind of a guideline because nobody really knows who's reporting what and at what stage of the virus, and they assume a lot of people elderly died from it, and you don't really know because they had a respiratory. So I mean, I see why it's very difficult to have accurate numbers with something like this.
Trina, also, a lot of them had do not resuscitate, so they just threw it in as coronavirus.
yeah, and there's two ways of putting it. You can die from Corona-19 or COVID-19, or you can die with it. And the number 109,000 is they died with it. That means that it may not have been the main reason they passed away. It could have been the final thing that, like, for example, we heard a couple of weeks ago that Dick Goddard was in bad shape. Well, yesterday's news said that Dick Goddard now has the coronavirus. So
it's from underlying health conditions.
Yeah, but he's already so compromised. He wasn't going to be able to make it out of here anyway. In that, they were. I think his daughter said we needed prayers like 2 weeks ago. So when he passes away, he'll go into the column of having. He'll die with coronavirus, but he's already been compromised. Unfortunately, he was a great guy. I thought Dick Goddard was a real icon, didn't you?
You're right.
I was on TV with him once when we adopted one of our dogs.
Oh no, yeah, he was a big dog guy, and
I got on the show, and
the Woolly Bear. Do they still do that Woolly Bear stuff?
Yep. Well, they didn't. Well, I don't know whether they're going to do it this year, but they do it every year.
That's terrific. And yeah, he promoted the dogs. He brought a couple of dogs on TV and kept the
That's where
interest
I
up.
went. My dog was so shy, he didn't want to get on TV. So usually it was just Dick and the dog. So he called me over, and I wasn't prepared at all to be on television with the dog. But
oh, that's how you met him?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And his longtime girlfriend that had the huge beehive hairdo, they dated like forever with a fiance. I don't know if they ever ended up together.
Do you still have the dog?
No, he's gone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, their lives seem so short compared to ours.
Yeah.
Especially relatively large dogs. Smaller dogs can 10, 12, 15 years, but the large ones, man, they go in a hurry.
Yeah, this was a medium. Well, we're definitely going to look into this Roku thing and go to that suppose.tv. That'll be so helpful. Thank you so much. This was really helpful.
If you need anything or you want a link to the Roku, or they carry them everywhere. You could probably get it online if you don't feel like going anywhere. You could order it as Amazon or eBay.
Well, when I had my dog business and I would go to people's homes, they had them, and so I got a little taste of it then. And like Marty said, for me it was a little confusing because I wasn't used to it. There wasn't anybody there. Every time I was at home, I was alone with the dog, so nobody was there to explain anything.
Right. You need a little bit of a learning curve. The model that is the most popular, the best overall one, is called a Roku Streaming Stick Plus. It's $50 at Walmart.
Oh, not the Ultra?
You could get that one, absolutely. That's
Streaming Stick Plus.
The Roku Ultra is $80. And that is mainly for people. Now, I don't know why they broke it up this way, but it's recognizing that it has more memory and more power and it has a memory stick, micro SD card, and a USB port and an Ethernet port. So that's a Roku Ultra for 80. And I have an Ultra, and I have a Premier, and I have an Express. I don't have the one that they list as the best overall. I don't have a stick. I have a Roku Ultra, which is a box, and a Roku Premier and a Roku Express that allows me to plug in. I don't need an HDMI with the Express. My older TV doesn't have an HDMI port, but it has one, but I can plug in my video and audio using what look like RCA jacks, if you know what those are. I don't know. But the one that's the best, if you want to get the Roku Ultra, absolutely, $80, you'll be all set.
Trina, do you go to the hospital every day? Oh,
I'm sorry, what?
you go to the hospital every day?
Yes,
Do they test do they check your temperature?
yes. In fact, now, they used to do my wrist or my forehead, but now they have a 6-foot, looks like a spy camera, and as long as you're in that perimeter, you just walk by it and it tells them your temperature.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it is cool.
Trina,
Save time.
I have AFib, so every 10 weeks I have to go be tested.
Uh-huh,
I walked into Akron General, which was part of the Cleveland Clinic yesterday.
yeah.
They didn't test me. I went to the 5th floor and they gave me a mask and I went in and it was out in 5 minutes.
Are you sure you didn't walk by a big camera like I do that took your temperature?
No, I walked in from the parking lot, got on the elevator, went to the 5th floor, got off there.
Wow.
There was nobody there. Walked up to the lady who was checked in. They checked me in. I went into the AFib. They test my whatever it is every 10 weeks because I take warfarin, the warfarin clinic. And I was in there and I asked them and they go, there was nobody down there? I goes, no, I just walked in. And of course I was in there 5 minutes and walked out. And when I left, there wasn't anybody there.
That wouldn't happen at Taussig. There's only one way in and one way out.
Yeah, well, there's,
In terms of fire, in case of fire?
And well, but if you walk to the other, the whatever that tunnel or that walkway that gets you over to where you can get food, they check you again there, your wristband, and they see which building you came from. So you, so yeah, you can't get by anything like that at the main campus.
no, okay.
But good to know. I would hide.
Jeff, I really like your pet behind you.
Yeah, can we see? Oh boy.
Thank you.
Is that another Facebook grab?
Yeah, my Christy Parker, who's in my BNI chapter, posted that on Facebook, and I
Oh,
said,
right.
feeling
She's
it.
the pest control lady, right?
yes.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's what I do. I make backgrounds for myself.
Going to work.
All right, I have to go walk Bentley. He's barking.
I gotta walk my skunk.
Bye, everybody.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you,
I
Trina.
gotta go walk to Marblehead.
I gotta go fix the computer. I'll see you all later. Thank you.
All right,
Bye,
thank
guys.
you. Bye-bye.
See you later.